Okay, so I figure it's time for an update for everyone. So I think the last video that we did um, was just about our frustration with the process. Like, why is it so hard to just get people to take our money? And we've come leaps and bounds since then. So the land finally closed. So for those of you that don't remember, we were having our parents, my parents, are purchasing a 50-acre plot, and then my husband and I are purchasing our half from them. My parents' purchase of the 50 acres, they started the closing process in like June or July of 2020. It was supposed to close in September. And leading up to it, there were a ton of things that ended up delaying it for one reason or another. And it just was taking forever. So it finally closed 2 weeks ago. It is, what's today? It's February. It's February 8th. It closed 2 weeks ago, so months and months past the date. And just to give you a little feedback into everything took forever. The perk test took longer than we expected. The survey took longer than it should have. By the way, the survey was needed because it used to be a 75-acre plot, but the seller was only selling 50 of it. So he had to get it surveyed and subdivide it down to 50 to sell that plot. So that took longer than we expected. And then the seller decided he wasn't going to pay off the mortgage that he had on the land. So it took longer because he had to get a new mortgage document drawn up because it wasn't going to be paid off. And then our lawyer got COVID, went into a coma, and his law firm closed its doors, which is extremely unfortunate. And I do hope he's okay. To my knowledge, he's still hanging in there, but I think he's still in a coma. So anyway, we switched to a new attorney and then closed in like 2 or 3 weeks after we switched. So thank you, John Jones. If you're looking for an attorney in upstate New York, John Jones is your guy. Anyway, so that's where that was. And ever since then, so my father's probably going to watch this at some point, but Chad and I were getting super frustrated because we had zero control over this, and we're the ones that are like, look, building prices are going up. We are getting more pregnant by the day. By the way, we're expecting. We're getting more pregnant by the day. We live in an 800 square foot house. We do not have room for the two of us, 2 kids, and our dog. Like, we need to move. And obviously that urgency is not the same for someone else. So we were like, I wish he would just follow up 2 times a week, whatever. So as soon as it closed, things were in our hands again. So we now, since it closed, I guess it was a week and a half ago that it closed. So not this previous Friday, but the Friday before it. And today is Monday. So it closed like 10 days ago, whatever. So anyway, we've since gone up to pick our house finishes and signed the house contract and put a deposit, a 10% deposit, biggest check I've ever had to write, on the house build. By the way, just for full disclosure, so you're aware, they required a 10% deposit, and the house build part was about $185,000. So we had to write a check for like $18,500. And then, so we did that. We are getting another survey done because, of the 50-acre parcel, we're only taking half. So we're paying to subdivide it again. We're using the same surveyor. He's a little curt in his emails. I'm actually not a huge fan. He's kind of extremely unhelpful, but whatever. It'll be much cheaper because he made the previous map, so any other surveyor would have to re-go over his lines, whereas he can just be like, I know those lines are right by his standards, so he just has to draw the new ones. So it does just make sense. And they said, depending on snow, placing the pins at the new corners of the property boundaries will take time, but that as far as the town is concerned, the subdivision is done once they have the new map. So all he has to do is draw the lines, give us the map, and then we can proceed to closing with our lender. So our lender needed quotes from the site work guy, so that's like the excavation and the well and electrical in the house once it's set up and whatever. We ended up going with a modular build, so they handle like all the finishes in the house, finishes as far as like cabinets and floors and tile, But they don't do the electrical, the plumbing, the heat, whatever. So all of that has to be done on site. So basically double the cost. Another $125,000 is what that site work will cost. Give or take. I don't really know. I need an updated quote because our previous quote was in December, and prices just keep going up because this kept getting delayed. So, any hoozles. Yeah, so that's where we are right now. We signed a contract with the surveyor, sent them a deposit so they can get started on that work. Once they finish that, we send that updated info to the builder so that they can finalize the blueprints. We send the blueprints to the excavation guy so that he knows exactly what kind of footprint he's going to need to dig and build a basement for. And he'll get back to us with an updated quote once he has that. Then we can go to the bank. The site work guy will create a draw schedule, and then finally we can close on everything, on our portion of the land, on the price of the site work, on the build. And so that's where we are right now. We don't have a date for that closing yet because we still need to, like I said, all those things that we still have to do. We have to do that first. But it's all in the works now. Now that the housing contract is signed, the blueprint will start getting made. And now that we sent in the deposit for, I'm gesturing to the phone that you cannot see. Now that the deposit for the survey has been made, they can start surveying. So things are moving. And that's where we are right now. And it is still very difficult, even with the prices going up, for people to take my money. But yeah, we're moving right along. So I'm excited. I'm excited now because it feels like it's actually getting real and it's going to get done. So that's where we are. And hopefully next update we'll have some more good news. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe.